Hello and welcome to another ACY Securities interview. Today I am with Gustavo Correa and we're discussing his metrics over the last stage of the Trading Cup. Gustavo has entered into the been a finalist and he has managed to pull off 179%. Thank you very much for appearing with us today, Gustavo. It's a pleasure to have you on the team.
Thank you so much, Alistair. My pleasure to be with you.
So with your methods and how you've been trading is really what we're going to be talking about today. To get started, how long have you actually been trading for?
Sure. I mean, on and off, around 8 years. I started as a discretionary trader, did a couple of courses here and there. I used to run a business, but I saw that it was not growing the way I wanted. It didn't have much potential. So I thought of, okay, let me get into trading as a side income stream. So, and it has been like that until now. I'm doing it as a hobby, but also hopefully, thankfully also being able to draw some income from it also.
Okay, so is it a full-time role for you with your trading, or is it just, here and there, a bit of part-time sort of stuff these days?
Yeah, I wish it was full-time, but running a family, you can't do anything full-time. So
It's the advantage of trading, right? You can sort of pick and choose when you want to be doing it. And what actually got you interested in trading to begin with?
Well, if you look at my background, I studied physics, so I like a lot of maths and statistics, and I also like programming. And when I started trading, the statistics side was interesting for me, but then when I started into algorithmic trading, then that was really the combination of everything into one package kind of thing. So that attracted me a lot.
Excellent. So it's sort of a neat package. You're building your foundations off what your sort of background and your education is, and then you've sort of mixed it and blended into trading, and that's kind of kept you along for the last 8 years of the ride, I suppose.
Yes. It was a nice combination of everything, of the programming, of the statistics, and a bit of the thrill also, because there is a thrill in trading. So.
And what do you use, what do you apply, your background and the trading that you do? What sort of markets do you usually look at? Is it always CFDs based, or do you look at everything, other things like options and stocks and futures and all those sort of things?
Nah, I specialize on FX market just because of the liquidity. So I stay on FX and gold, some commodities, a bit of crypto, not much. I don't really trade much crypto. But no, I don't touch stocks. I don't touch options. Yeah.
And so on the CFDs front, when it comes to the currencies, do you have a preferred one that you trade exclusively, sort of thing? Because some traders do trade exclusively. So at the moment, the current winner, like the leader in the Trading Cup for the last stage, only traded gold and has always only traded gold. So are you a bit like that, or do you look at other metrics as well and other currencies and indices or whatever it may be?
Well, when I'm developing my EAs, I treat any currency, because the EA that I'm trying to develop, it kind of adapts itself to the behavior of each currency.
Yeah.
Right? But everybody's on top of gold now, because gold has just been one-way street. So I'm not surprised the guy did it, and I did it on my stage. I also only traded gold. So I think it's wherever the market tells you to go. You can't specialize into something, otherwise you're able to be flexible, because nothing stays the same. If you pick up one currency, that currency will trend sometimes, will be sloppy other times. So
yeah, it's kind of excluding yourself from what the best opportunity is at the moment. And what sort of indicators do you usually use? Is it completely statistical sort of based, or are you looking at sort of the other side with the common indicators that you would usually find?
Well, that is a tricky question.
Without giving away all your secrets, of course.
Well, there's not really a secret. I don't use 30 indicators and wait for all of them to combine into one super setup and that's it. I use moving average to suggest me where the trend is going, or if there is no trend. And then I try to pick up levels where I want to enter. And if I close in profit, I close in profit. If I don't close in profit, that means it's going against me. So then I try to pick up other levels to build on it. Some sort of grid, but it's not a fixed grid. It's a subjective grid based on what the market is telling me.
Okay.
That's more or less what I'm doing.
So is it you're a little bit discretionary with your entries as opposed to running with a hard, I'm in at this point, out at this point, as according to the system? Is that what it sounds like to me?
It's a mix. It's actually
It's a mix.
Yeah. For the first half of the year, I was really just focusing. I wanted the EA to do everything, and I would just sit down and see what's happening. So, but now I'm actually playing with it. So it's there for me to enter. It's there for me to exit. But I kind of help him out to enter in new positions if the trade is going against me, based on levels that I kind of see. So because there's
human intervention side is still required, it sounds like.
Yes. So semi-discretionary, if you want to say, or semi-automated.
Not quite one, not quite the other, but in the middle. We can agree on that.
Okay.
And tell me a little bit your trading setup. I mean, obviously you've been trading for a number of years. Have you developed through different stages of your setup and when it comes to the computers and the software that you use? Or have you been pretty static with, maybe just using a laptop or one desktop sort of thing? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, trading itself, you need to have a VPS. You need to have especially if you're using EAs. So you have to have a VPS, and sometimes if you want to use trailing stop losses, you need to have the terminal open all the time. So I think VPS is an essential thing. I use one VPS in New York, for 10 years, and it never went down for anything. Even with Hurricane Katrina, whatever, it kept on there. So.
And is that because of the latency issues that might arise if you're not using a VPS, or is there something else behind the scenes that you're sort of looking at for that purpose?
Well, the first thing is the 24/7 factor. It's always on, so it's always there for when the setup comes up. It's always there when it's time to close or to open a new one, to build on your position. The latency is a very important thing, especially if you're working on short-term trading. I mean, really scalping. I mean, if you're not scalping, the latency doesn't count that much. But yes, it's a bonus. I mean, my VPS sits one block from Wall Street pretty much. So there's no latency there. I mean, it is.
Perfect. I mean, I've seen quite a few traders employing that VPS strategy, and I certainly have in the past as well. So I can appreciate when you're doing the systematic style or the algorithmic trading that it's almost a necessity to have that. Do you require extra screens when it comes to that sort of thing? Because a lot of traders do use multiple screens. Do you tend to stick with just one or two or anything like that?
No, I don't have 20 screens in front of me. I have my laptop. It's plugged on a 4K TV, so I can have nice 4-6 charts open on one screen, but it's a huge screen. So that helps. I do have 2 desktops that I use to develop my strategies. Those are quite mean desktops. I mean, those are Threadrippers. 32 thread, 32 core, 64 thread, 128 gigs of RAM, because I'm actually now also studying financial engineering. I want to see if I can apply machine learning to my EAs. So that's
excellent.
That's the next step.
I think that'll be well suited by the sound of things. And when it comes to the software that you're using, are you using MT4? Do you use other types of trading software as well? I mean, obviously, if you're coding, there's something like Algo or eSignal being involved in any of that as well.
No, it's MT4. I mean, I love it. It's simple, it's light, it's effective. The fact that it doesn't backtest in a multi-threaded environment, I've sorted out. I mean, I've developed a tool that allows me to employ 100 terminals onto one backtest instead of one, so that maximizes a lot of my speed. And although, I mean, disclaimer, don't trust backtests blindly.
I love it. No, I love it.
Well, it's an indication.
It's always the case. I mean, you can never trust a back test until you forward test, and even then you kind of consider the options and compare them well and truly before you actually set it live. Now, in stage 1, you were in and out of the top 10 quite regularly. We'd see you in there for a little bit, then you'd be out for a little bit. What's changed in your strategy that's enabled you to sit consistently in the top 10 for this round and even be in one of the finalists?
Look, we must understand that the Trading Cup brings an element which is not our everyday element when you're trading. It's the pressure to perform. Right? Yeah. I think the biggest mistake people make in trading is that they risk too much. They are not patient, and they want to earn and want to see the account growing up day after day. And I mean, if you look at the top 10, yes, there's quite, I actually copied every day to see, and there's quite a rotation, and people come up and they disappear, come up and they disappear. And the only thing that we can conclude from that is that people are wiped out and people are lucky. They're lucky, they score high, and then they are unlucky and they are wiped out. And that's what happened with me on the first stage. I mean, on the first stage, I actually got stopped out because I was too eager. And then on stage 2, I reduced my risk, and then I was able to ride nicely until one day I lost 100% of my profit. So I went back to stage.
Oh no!
to square zero, and that was the last week. And I said, no, what do I do now? So then I said, you know what? Now it's time for me to put a bit more risk, and I was able to recover 50% of that in 3 days, and eventually in top 4. I mean, I was on top 3 because, as you know, I mean,
yeah. So comparing, you know, what you do in your normal trading day and what you get in the trading competition, how does that differ for you in terms of your own strategy and your methodology that you use?
It's essentially risk, your position size, right? I mean, I'm running position sizes that I'm less comfortable with than every day. I mean, with every day, my position sizes can endure a big drawdown without the risk of being wiped out, in the sense that I will recover. I know I will. It might take a day, a week, a month, but I will recover. I will not lose that money. But now, when you're in a trading cup and you need to perform, it's a balance between luck and discipline. I mean, I would say.
So I mean, obviously, just the general setting of the competition compared to your normal trading makes a massive difference on how you actually perform and what sort of method you're doing. I mean, to me, it sounds a little bit like when you're in the competition, you're kind of wanting to push the limits of what the strategy might be capable of doing, and sometimes a little bit too far, which results in a lot of people and that rotation that we're seeing in there. And your recommendation is to actually trade less than what you expect and not listen into the pressure, and to try and bring it back to, you're trying to almost bring it back to what you would do in your normal day, just with a little bit more tweaks on it, I guess.
Look, as it stands, with the main criteria is pure profit, a normal trader probably won't go very far. Because there will always be one guy. I mean, if you put 1,000 guys, there will be one guy or two guys that are lucky and will take the top spots, and then you trying to be disciplined. So, I mean, I was thinking, if you guys use another metric like return versus drawdown and stuff like that, which is what normal traders usually use to assess how much risk they are putting, I would imagine the landscape would be completely different. The winner would not be the guy with the highest profits. I mean, the winner would be a guy with the most consistent performance.
Absolutely. I mean, that would almost mimic what we see in the real world when it comes to selecting fund managers and or hedge funds even. You know, you're looking for that slow ride up with minimal drawdown, low risk, and of course, consistent profits. I mean, we're not looking for the same, I mean, to try and make some of the money that some of the guys in the trading competition are doing in 30 days, you know, you would see those sort of percentages in some hedge funds would take maybe a couple of years. So it's impressive to say the least, at least from my perspective. Now that we've gotten through a bit of your insight on how you're trading and all that sort of thing, how are you planning to tackle the next stage of the trading cup? Are you going to employ the same sort of strategy you've used this time around, or will you optimize it a little bit more?
I must say, stage 3, I had a huge bump. So now, I mean, again, I'm trying to play safe. I already qualified. I mean, it would be nice to finish in a second or even a first to go to the final directly. But now I want to recover the money that I lost, I mean, in this stage 3. And I still have 3 more stages. So yeah. I'm just letting go a bit of that pressure, which invariably makes you make mistakes. I mean, I woke up 2 in the morning to catch the Asia market, and I made a mistake there. Well, that was when? That was on Tuesday, I think. Yes, Monday. And then I said, okay, gone. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be able to reach. And then by the afternoon of the next day, I've recorded already 60% of what I lost. So I say, okay, there must be a chance. But then yesterday gold dipped, and then I got stopped out. So I just funded more money in my account just to carry on trading to recover the money and say, okay, stage 4, here we come.
Okay. Well, now that you have made it through to the finals,
it's the pressure.
In the final stage of the competition, you've got a 1 hour period to be trading. How are you planning to tackle that 1 hour of power to try and be the absolute crown king for this year's Trading Cup?
To be honest with you, I'm gonna get a dart board and I'm gonna say, okay, that dart goes there. I will buy or I'll sell in 1 hour.
Yeah, it's 1 hour, and it's all around NFP as well, which is going to make it even the more challenging with that time of the day on a Friday, or Friday for us here in Australia. So that's going to be a very interesting event. Now, well, thank you very much for attending for today and letting me interview you. I am absolutely honoured to sort of have met you, and certainly am looking forward to see what some of your results will be in the Trading Cup coming up. So thank you very much for attending and being a part of it all.
Thank you so much, Alistair. Thank you so much for ACY. I mean, I think they are running a wonderful competition, a great job. And I mean, I've traded other platforms and I'm really happy with ACY. I'm actually, in fact, thinking of moving some, I do have accounts in other brokers, and I think I'm moving them to ACY because good spreads, good execution time, and wonderful people. So I'm really happy.
Excellent. We're happy if you're happy, and we're hoping you're going to be winning one of the winners at the end of the season.
Let's see.
That concludes our interview with Gustavo, who was a 4th place finalist in our Trading Cup Stage 2. If you'd like to partake in the Trading Cup or even get involved and keep an eye on some of those leaderboards, feel free to check out tradingcup.com for more information. Have a great trading day ahead.
Are you ready to take the challenge? Go to www.tradingcup.com to register.